the first thing that I want to go over is it's really important when you're working in Photoshop or Illustrator, and some of you are doing it really well, and some of you are still kind of struggling a little bit. It's really important to have file management and file naming under control. That few seconds that it saves you in the end, when you compile a few seconds over hundreds of changes that you make over the course of a project, being organized and understanding where things are is really quite important. So if you are looking at this layer set here, although I can tell here that this has these two people, I have a hard time remembering what exactly is on this layer, right? So if I look at that and it's my little Jabberwocky, I want to call that Jabber Other, right? So this way, even if something's off, I know what it is. And this is just something I don't need at all. And so poor file management, that is making my overall file size bigger. So if we watch this 18 and 135, if I go ahead and delete that, it drops it down already down to 123 megs, right? That's 12 megabytes of information that was literally unnecessary. And every bit bigger this file gets, the slower it runs, the harder it is to back up. So that file management piece is super important, and I want to see you naming and managing. This doesn't mean so in this case, if I have these two things here, I always keep an original layer and a background copy if I'm doing something like in this case, I was going to silo out some of this stuff, right? So I always keep an extra copy of that until I know I don't need it anymore. So if you need it, it's there. But if it's something silly like what I just deleted, I really want to get rid of it. And having good file management, Alice Jabber, so I know it's both of them together, right? And that way I have a handle on what's on my layers and what I need to work from. All right. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to make two versions of my little friend. I want to make one version of my little friend here so that my little friend can stand right with Alice. All right. Which is going to look weird because she's tall and narrow, but that's all right. And then I want to do another one exactly how I did this one down here. So when I'm scanning them, I'm going to do two separate scans to make that happen. So I'm going to go ahead on here and make sure that my rulers, if you don't know how to find these, if you go to View, you go to Rulers and you turn them on, they'll show up right here. And so for the version that's going to go across right here, I'm going to go from one side all the way to the other, which is 14 inches. And I don't want her head as a part of that 14 inches. I literally want from here to here. Okay? So when I say longest side, if I'm measuring from here to here, I'm going to measure the longest distance that I need. All right? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take a measurement, and that measurement is going to be about, let's see, we'll do 6. So if I use 6 inches, that will be my long measurement. Let me grab a piece of paper because it's a little easier for me to do like that. So that 6 inches is the original size of the object. So print size divided by original size. So original size, did I just say 6 inches? And the print size, how big it needs to be in the final, I really need it to be 14 inches across. So my print size is 14 inches divided by 6. If you have the gift and can do that in your head, feel free to scream it out. I do not. Even if it were 7, it would probably take me a few minutes to figure that out. So math is not my strong suit, but that's what calculators are for. You have one built in right here, and so you can just pop in here and grab your calculator, and you can go ahead and say 14 divided by 6 equals 2.333333. I just need the 2.3. Now, the way this works, if I want to round this to a percentage, who can tell me how to make this a percentage? Anybody?
Multiply it by 100.
Yeah.
Well,
Multiply it.
Depending on one.
Right. So multiply it by 100,
Yeah.
or just move the decimal 2 places.
Yeah.
So in this case, 233 is the percentage. So it's fair to say that we're going about 233% larger. Yep. So 233% would be me checking my math, and that's yes, I'm definitely going bigger. And then I'm going to multiply that number by 300, which is my target resolution. Some of us talked about having a different target. You would multiply by that. And I end up with 700 as my resolution. So let's double check that. We want 2.33. So I don't move the decimal. That's just to check my math. 233%. I leave the decimal and I multiply that by 300. And it equals 699. They rounded it up. I have no idea why. That was really weird. But maybe because I had all the threes.
Yeah.
So 699, I would go with 700. If my number was like 660, 640, I would put the exact number. But if I'm one number off from 700, I'm going to go with the clean 700 because I'm pretty flexible. Now, if I want to do another one of these, let's try it again. This time I want, let's make it like it's a little pixie. Let's make the little lady as tall as Alice's elbow. Okay? So if I'm going to go as tall as Alice's elbow, I'm going to go from 0. So again, I can move this here, right? So that it's at the origin that I want it to be. And I'm going to go up to Alice's elbow. You'll notice wherever I put my cursor, it shows me the measurement. So let's do it for 3 inches. All right? So 3 inches is my print size or my original size? Print size. Yep. How big it's going to be in my composition. So print size is 3 divided by, now this time I have to measure my longest side. I want the whole person. So which way am I measuring? The whole person,
Yeah.
right? So top to bottom, we've got 11 inches. So 3 divided by 11 equals, we'll pop back here, we'll hit our clear button, and we'll say 3 divided by 11 equals 0.27272. Okay, so 0.27, move the decimal 2 places, 27%. Would that make sense that about a quarter of the height would fit into there? Yep. So that looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and multiply that by what?
300.
300, my target resolution. And I'm going to get 81.8 or 82, right? So we're going to round that up. 81.8, round it up to 82. You don't want to put decimals in when you're scanning. So I need a scan of her at 82 resolution, and I need a scan at her at 700 resolution. So I'm doing 2 separate scans of her. Does that make sense? All right. So I'm going to stop this little recording right here.